Hey there, and thank you so very much for stopping by and wanting to hear my STEM story. I'm going to warn you, this is not going to be the typical story that you may think you hear when it comes to math and science and pursuing a career in it. Right now, this story includes baton twirling, professional cheerleading, traveling the world, getting on a boat, and retiring at the age of 36. So I hope you're ready for this. Hey there, I am Phylecia Jones, and I'm the creator of Keep Up with Mrs. Jones, and I'm a speaker and a budgetologist, and that means I love to work with business owners or individuals around money, and I actually love to travel and speak on this exact topic. Now, this story, this video that you're about to see was inspired because I was invited to speak on a TEDx stage, and my topic was Girls Are Great at Math. And this was inspired because I had been working with so many business women, and one of the things they instantly tell me is that I'm not good at math. And me being a computer scientist and a former systems engineer and a former research scientist for the Navy, and I just wasn't understanding why this was happening. So I started doing the research and realized that by the age of 15, most young women, most young girls decide to not pursue anything around math. And the numbers just dwindle each year after that, especially in college for those who decide to get in a math or science degree and realize it is just not for them because of the pressure. And then we have so many women that are leaving these fields at an astonishing rate. And that's why I was motivated to do this talk for TEDx. And I'm motivated to tell you my story. And like I said, it is not going to be the story you think it is. Now, I started off in high school. I grew up as a very regular middle class person, and I try to tell people my story with math and STEM and science. If I can do this, you can do it as well. I wasn't the smartest person in my class. I wasn't a genius. I didn't grow up with parents that really focus on math. All I knew was that I had to go to college. I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to be a lawyer. And I saw an article in a magazine for Sega Genesis. Yes, I'll show my age. I saw an article for Sega Genesis, and they were looking for video game programmers. And I was like, I think I want to do that. And coming out of college, I said I wanted to be a computer engineer. Things changed a little bit when I got to college because I had a teacher I just didn't care for. So I switched over to computer science, and that is pretty much how this story begins when I go to college. Now, I didn't choose a college based on the curriculum or anything like that. Be a little smarter than me. To be honest, I was a majorette. I was a baton twirler coming out of high school. I chose my school based on being a dancer and being a baton twirler in the marching band. Yeah. See, my choices. But to be honest, it paid for college. It paid for the first 2 years of college, being in the marching band as a dancer and as a featured baton twirler. I was also in concert band where I played my flute. And I had an academic scholarship, and college was actually pretty cool. I got to meet some very interesting people, got to be around a lot of people who were pursuing engineering degrees, and I learned a lot. And by the time I graduated, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to stay home or if I wanted to go far, far away. And I was offered a job by the U.S. Navy as a civilian computer scientist. That took me out of my little world. I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, my world in Atlanta, Georgia, and I went to San Diego, California, and worked for the next 11 and a half years as a computer scientist for the Navy. And if I could tell you, you couldn't have told me at 12 years old, at 15 years old, at 18 years old, what would happen after that. It's like a miracle. Some days I sit back and like, wow. That's why I say this is the power of math and science. It really can take you wherever you want to go. And like I said, if I can do this, you're probably a lot smarter than me. Your kids are probably a lot smarter than me. If I could do this, you sure as heck can do it, or your kids can do it as well. So I got my job as a computer scientist for the Navy, and I did a whole bunch of different things. And the beauty of this job is that they said it depends on what you want to do. And I was like, okay. So I studied a little bit of networking. I did a little bit of programming. I learned how to hack. I hacked ships. And one of the biggest things that happened was I just happened to get on a project and they needed someone to start traveling. My very first trip was to Boston, Massachusetts, because I heard them talking about London and I was like, I don't know how to raise my hand and say I wanted to go. But I took my very first trip to Boston, Massachusetts, worked with some other government contractors on this project where we translated languages through a chat engine. Now, this is back in the day. Of course, technology is 10 times better now. But with that one program, I got to travel to the Republic of Georgia. I got to travel to the United Kingdom. I went to Poland. I went to Germany many times. I was on conference calls with people around the world. I got to go and demonstrate this project with NATO armies. I met people from Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Italy. I literally made friends all over the world just from being on this project, just because I stayed with the math and science career. And like I said, I had no idea. I had no idea where this could take me. I've worked on projects in Hawaii. I've worked for joint military commands, being on networking projects. I mean, I've been in rooms with people where I shouldn't have been in rooms. And there was one time our project did get presented to the Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice, back in the day. I missed it because I was on vacation in Greece. That's the other beautiful thing about pursuing a math and science career. You have a field where you can actually get paid and you can live very comfortably. By the time I was 26, I was making close to $100,000 a year. And I didn't want for anything. Now, I did have to learn how to do math a little bit better when it came to budgeting. Whole different story. But the life I have led from being in the STEM world has been amazing. It has led me to the point now that I was able to retire, take an early retirement from one of the most stable jobs you can ever have, to launching my own business, to still traveling the world, to talking about money. Now I'm on panels talking about women in STEM and mentoring other women so that they can stay, because I did become a statistic. The pressure did get to me, but now I have the ability to go out and meet other women and inspire other young girls and young ladies that this career, even if you don't do it for the rest of your life, man, it is a springboard for a life that you could never, ever imagine. So that's my STEM story. I hope it is encouraging you to pursue a career in STEM, or to at least think about it. If you are a parent watching this, just let you know that, man, the sky is just open to where you could go with STEM. Like I said, this story included baton twirling. And yes, while I was working as a scientist for the Navy, I had a nighttime side hustle as a professional cheerleader. Yeah, don't ask me about that one. But the beauty of it is that I didn't stay inside of the bubble. For those of you who are looking to go into STEM, but you think that you can't be creative, I was still creative. I still danced. I still did baton twirling. I was still out there. I mean, even I still traveled the world. I still did all of those things while I had a career with STEM, while I was in college studying computer science. And I actually do have a minor in math. And I did all of this while I was in graduate school, working on a master's degree in systems engineering. So the sky is the limit. You literally can do whatever you want to do. I have friends that are just doing amazing things in science and technology. I have other friends who pursued these careers and decided to go a completely different route. When you decide to choose STEM, when you decide to choose math or science as a career, it just opens up the world to let you know that you can do whatever you want, and it can take you wherever you want to go.